address one of the most pressing global challenges in the autonomous field: governance. From global standards and ethical AI governance to cybersecurity, data protection, and public trust, this session examines what it takes to ensure that autonomous systems are deployed safely, responsibly, and with societal confidence. Moderating this session, once again, is Manos Krani, Geoeconomics Editor at The National. Please join me in welcoming our distinguished panelists: Dr. Abdullah Hamad Al-Ghafli, Acting Director General Integrated Transport Center, Abu Dhabi Mobility; Engineer Aqil Al-Zar'ouni, Assistant Director General for Aviation Safety Affairs, UAE General Civil Aviation Authority; Hassan Al-Hosseini, Chief Executive Officer, Smart Solutions Space 42; Luis de la Cruz, Managing Director of Digital Services and Experiences, General Motors Africa and Middle East. Gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. It's good to be back on here, ladies and gentlemen, excellencies. Regulating autonomy, global standards, AI governance, public trust. How trusting are you of AI? How trusting are you of the future of autonomy? So we've arranged an entire engineer panel for you who think very differently probably to anybody else out there. They're trained to think differently. They're trained to analyze data in a different way, certainly to people like me. So I want to start just with a very brief sense, gentlemen, of we are in this innovative period of time. How important is regulation in that? What is the most important part of that regulatory environment? And let's do it in reverse order. Let's give the man that brings you GM every day. I don't know what the GM slogan is for autos at the moment on the E11, but this man brings you GM every day. The big truck that tailgates you, he built it. Good morning.
Good morning. Very happy to be here this morning. My name is Luis de la Cruz. I am representing General Motors. I am leading the company in basically all the topics related to new technology, from connectivity, AI, and of course, autonomous vehicles. So for us, regulation plays a very critical role on ensuring that we have a level playing field on how the general population, the society in general, adopt technology. It's critical for us as our customers are demanding much more integrated, seamless digital experiences, that we ensure that we do it in a safe way, ensuring that we have the highest levels of cybersecurity, data protection, etc. In General Motors, we lead by safety. So we are only deploying these technologies once we can guarantee that safety it's a top priority. So that's the angle we're taking on this, Manus.
And we'll talk more about your relationship with Space 42 in a moment. It comes down to mapping. But Hassan, good morning to you. We're here to talk about regulating the autonomous world. You create many different products for the autonomous world. How heavy a burden is regulation for you? Does it stymie innovation? Make your world at Space 42 come alive in terms of the products that you're doing and the regulation of your world?
Well, I would say if I were in a different city than Abu Dhabi, I might be in quite a challenging situation. But in Abu Dhabi, it has been always very easy to work across regulation and execution. When it comes to regulating such technologies or innovative technologies, first we take it into the anticipation side. So we anticipate what kind of risks are we talking about? What risks would actually impact the public, the safety of the public? Is there an impact on jobs? Is there an impact on the road network? All of that is part of the anticipation part. That's step one. Step two is actually to understand why are we doing it? So we're reflecting, or that reflection. Are we doing it because we can do it, or there's a reason for it? There's a value to do it. So that's step number two. Three is engaging. Now, you engage with the public sector, you engage with the regulative authorities, you engage with all the different key stakeholders to understand what are you trying to build, how are you going about it, and as my colleague in GM mentioned, how are we taking it step by step. And finally, we need to be agile and adapt. So with executing, with a geofence, for example, we started in Yas Island, first of all. So through our operations in Yas Island, what were the lessons learned? And how do we adapt to actually improve and keep improving? So in Space 42, we are more about the backbone system. We generate the high-definition maps that are required. We provide services for the georeferencing point, so that's the high-precision accuracy positioning system. And we offer the sovereign cloud that can actually, or the mobile sovereign, mobility sovereign cloud that actually can ensure that the safety and security of that information is at the right hand. This, in a nutshell, how do we actually go about regulations? And within Abu Dhabi, we've seen in 2021, when we deployed our first autonomous system, it was a matter of weeks, not even months, to actually establish the right regulation, start geofencing, and start deploying.
Can you I've just come off 5 days in Saudi Arabia, 5 days at ADIPEC, and I'm back here in Abu Dhabi again today. And the one thing that struck me at ADIPEC was the speed with which, within 2 years, we have escalated our usage and the precision of the data and the information that is available in the oil and gas industry. Just how quickly is it changing in your world in mapping and evolving?
Yeah. It's definitely changing very fast right now from an overall perspective. Previously, or less than 5 years ago, the dependency was, for example, on creating high-definition map was more about aerial surveying. So you fly a drone, you do a whole flight, and you map the entire area. Now with remote sensing or Earth observation, we have satellites that can offer the right resolution of imaging that is required for high definition, so it makes it much faster. And again, we are very blessed in Abu Dhabi, especially because the infrastructure, from the road infrastructure the digital infrastructure, as His Excellency Mohammed Sharafa today earlier mentioned, the infrastructure that we have is very ready to actually adopt such innovation and such technology. So we keep changing with the evolution of technology, and we actually built on that. And finally, having our own computing power, having our own cloud, sovereign cloud, that is a key differential element when it comes to the overall operations.
And tech sovereignty is absolute power. Akil is the Assistant Director General for Aviation Safety. Now, I took his entire career and paraphrased it into, you're responsible for everything that doesn't take off at the runway in Dubai or Abu Dhabi. He was deeply wounded. But your world of autonomy, Akil, it is everything that literally does not make it to 42,000 feet. So you've got quite a bandwidth to deal with. What is good regulation of you and your area?
Yeah, good afternoon, Manas and the audience. Thank you for having me. So, of course, in aviation, regulations are must. We are totally governed by rules, and it is important when it comes to aviation because it is not locally, it is not domestic. We are talking about international transportation, and that requires a very high level of regulations that is adopted and accepted by other states. So we, as a GCAA, we set rules, we do our oversight, and of course, the span of our activities, it's with airlines, with maintenance organizations, with airports, aerodromes, and also with air navigation service providers as entities, in addition to individuals like engineers, like us, and pilots, air traffic controllers, and so. So aviation is a very regulated industry. Now, there are newcomers to this aviation sector that not necessarily they are from a traditional concepts of flying, traditional concepts of maintaining aircraft and so on, and flying. Those startup companies, They are, I mean, if you see them, they are, of course, they are engineers, they are pilots, but they are coming from Google or Uber and Apple, of those tech companies. So when they come to the aviation, they see the regulations as a burden to move fast. So, and also from our point of view, we are, as a regulator, we are not used to deal with such kind of open-minded industry that they want to innovate, they want to do something different. So to reach to that, or to reduce the gap, I could say, to reduce the gap between a conventional regulator with an innovators, we have to move ahead. We have to be a more proactive regulator.
What's been the hardest part of that? Because I can only imagine, respectfully, it's generational. You know, when I came into banking and broking, I was 21. I'm now, believe it or not, nearly 58. So it is generational in terms of how I work with other people in my industry, younger producers, younger journalists, younger bankers. And I have to be open-minded, and I have to say, maybe I need to change. It's a radical thought, but it's tough. I find it tough some days. How hard is it for you?
Yeah. I don't think it is an option anymore. It is a must. We as rule makers and government, we have to be seen as enablers to the technology, to the innovations. Otherwise, we are going to be a very reactive regulators, and this is not what the country wants, the leaders wants. The leaders, they are pushing for a diversified economy. They are pushing for technology to be embedded and starts in UAE. So with that requires lots of change of mindset, I could say, from the regulators. They need to think outside the norm, outside the way that a normal regulator should work.
We promised you engineers, but then we went and we got a doctor. So we did. It's you. He is the senior doctor on this panel. Good morning to you, Dr. Abdullah. Your brand is everywhere. We were just chatting outside. Regulation within the transport sector, the Abu Dhabi mobility sector. How are you regulating autonomy? Are you embracing it? Are you wrapping your arms around it and moving at pace? Or are you being cautious and judicious where necessary?
Good afternoon, first of all. I think now we are living in a world fast-moving technologies. I remember before 5 years, we were introducing the 4G connections. Now we have the 5.5E, and they announced it before a couple of months. There was nothing called GPUs. There was nothing called as an advanced AI as it was today available. I think the way that the world is changing is very fast. We have to be fast. We have to be adaptive to what's happening around us. In terms of a regulatory part, if we talk about regulations, in every part of the world, they have the type of controlling the business, controlling the systems. The same as what my colleague Aqil just mentioned, that the aviation industry, it's a bit controlled. So the industry is a bit almost closed. So in order to implement or adding any new technology, it takes time to bleach to that system. But in terms of mobility, the land and the air and the sea, with the development now on the AI and the technology and the advancement of those technologies, I think we need to shift our mindsets as a regulator from control to collaborate with the right stakeholders, with the right private sectors, let me say it correctly.
How far ahead are you globally? I've had the good fortune before. I lived here for 6 years. I've just returned from 2 years in America. I've lived at home in London and in Ireland. How far ahead is the UAE in setting the standard for governance and regulation? How advanced are we in this nation on the regulatory framework?
I think with the new council of the Autonomous Council that has been chaired by His Highness Sheikh Hamdan, there was a clear message from our leadership that we need to work very fast, agile, with everything that may change. That's why we can see the cybersecurity on the same table, we can see the safety people on the same table, we can see the industry at the same table. So we are evaluating the technology and the maturity of the technology. At the same time, we are doing our own job of assessing this technology in order to make sure that it will serve the public, it will serve the need, and it is safe and sustainable.
And I think that's what we'll discuss in just a moment in terms of convincing us to embrace whatever autonomous vehicle flights, low orbit machines that you proffer to us. Luis, can I come back to you? I want you to explain in very simple language the various levels of autonomous driving and interaction. It's a new world for me. I want you to take me on the journey of autonomous trust. Where am I and where am I going to?
Do you want to imagine yourself in 2030, how the world will look like?
I hope by 2030 I'll have made enough money to just have somebody else drive and do it all for me every day. I don't mind. I'll take a nice BMW that's autonomous.
Okay, let me tell you how it will look like. This is just an imagination, but we are seeking for this to be implemented 100%. Starting your journey from your home, when you take your cup of coffee, you order the car. The car will arrive at your doorstep. So you take your cup of coffee and sit in the car will start moving. If your job is close to where you live, the car will take you automatically to the work. Other than that, it will take you to the mass transit, the automated mass transit, which will take you in a different journey from that location to a closer point to your location in an autonomous way. You don't need to consider any payment method. You don't need to consider any stops. So you just get out from your car and go direct to the mass transit. And then you reach to your work and calm, without stress, without anything. And there is another mode.
He's promising me a life beyond my wildest dreams on the E11. He really is. That nobody's going to tell you. I'm joking with you, Dr. Abdullah.
I know the pain. So that's why we are, as a government, we know where's the pain. We have to identify the pain. We have to make our life easy, and we have to adapt the technology to relieve the pain of the people. Another mode that will be introduced, I think, with our collaboration with our partner GCA is the vertiports and the EV tolls. So if you don't have that much time and you need to move fast or from allocation to allocation, where you don't have the privilege of waiting or getting stuck in anywhere, I think the EV toll will be the solution. And it's also considered to be integrated with the network.
So and I think that's the secret, isn't it? It's about integration in our lives.
Everything should be integrated.
Let me go to Luis. Again, please bring alive what level 1 autonomy means and where is self-actualization, if I can use that phrase. What is self-actualization in Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Takes you back to your university days. What is that going to be? What's that paradigm at level 5 in autonomous driving?
Yeah, I think the industry definition is, as you're saying, basically we talk about different levels. Many decades ago, we started with cruise control, which was basically the ability to remove your feet from the pedals. That's level 1. We are now talking about level 2, which is driving ability with completely hands-free. We are moving fast to level 3, which is going to be eyes off the road. Basically, you could be in the driving position, reading, watching your phone, etc. And then the level 4 and level 5, you know, that where we are aiming to get, which is particularly being completely your mind off the wheel. No? So right now, with the collaboration that General Motors is doing with the Space 42, we are ready to launch level 2 autonomy into the UAE. There is a high dependency on HD mapping, cloud computing, the ability to ensure that those maps can be maintained, given the level of infrastructure that we have in a country like this. So I think for us, the milestone that will actually ensure that we continue building public trust and protecting the different actors is to ensure that we have regulatory that it's flexible enough to actually cater for all these different levels.
So level 3 is hands off. Level 4 is eyes off. How quickly, and what have you got to do to convince us to take our hands off the steering wheel and my eyes off the road? I might be old, but you know, I'm prepared to embrace. I'm prepared to embrace technology. How quickly will you encourage me to get there? And do you think the population in this room are prepared in 3-4 years to take their eyes off the road and their hands off the steering wheel?
I think that the adoption is going to depend on actually having proof points on ground.
Okay.
I think that we need to start deploying safe level 2 systems that are aligned to the highest level of data protection, cybersecurity, etc. I am convinced that we're in the right path to actually have that. And once we have technology like that deployed, I think the migration to eyes-off systems are going to be there. GM, for example, in North America so far, has driven more than 700 million miles hands-free across the United States and Canada. And that's why we are now closer to actually continue moving into level 3 systems. I see a very similar journey in UAE, and we have the right level of collaboration and support from regulatory agents to actually continue developing on that trend.
Well, I think we've got some sporty ambassadors in this nation, which shall remain nameless. I'm sure as soon as they start to advertise it globally, we will all follow. I think you know the Instagram account I'm talking about. Hassan, you are the creator of the backbone of what Luis will deliver. He's got the cars, he's got the capacity to deliver us and convince me to take my eyes off the road. You will guide the systems. Within that, how advanced is the mapping and the integration between you and the OEMs? Because I take it GM is not the only person that you're talking to. You want to be quick and sign an exclusive contract.
Sure, let me revert back to the question as well and just add some statistics to what Luis mentioned. Here we actually deployed our autonomous taxis or robo-taxis in late 2021. Up until today, we have more than 600,000 kilometers already in full L4 mode. The capacity that we have, it's very limited vehicles that we have today, but we have successfully done more than 20,000 trips. And with the demand is 3 times the capacity of operations as of today. So it shows that the public is actually not only embracing the new technology, but excited to actually explore that autonomous, hands-free, or even person-free at level 5 as we go forward. Now, when it comes to building the backbone, from day one, our strategy was that we're not here to reinvent the wheel. We're not here to create or develop new sensors that can be deployed into cars. We're not here to actually develop a full autonomous car on its own. We're focused more on the backbone system. So we created the right layers as we go, from the high-definition maps and the linear road networks that we have to our cloud computing, ensuring that it's sovereign data, managed the right way, regulated by the right authority. And of course, if Dr. Mohammed Al-Kuwaiti was here today, he can actually expand a little bit more about the cybersecurity part and the information security part and the Privacy Act that regulates this information. And then on top of that layer is the connectivity that we can offer. So this is something that we call V2X, or vehicle to environment. So it's connecting the vehicle to its environment, that surrounding environment. This is what we are focused on. And then we are agnostic to partners. We are actually partnering with GM from the US. We are partnering with A2Z from South Korea. We've partnered with WeRide previously. So we're open to actually provide this backbone for companies to come and excel in their capabilities on what they can offer.
Akhil, let me bring it to you and build upon this concept of trust. It's about transparency. It's about the data, the test cases, the proof points, as the gentlemen have just said. How important is that for convincing me and this audience to go to level 3, to go to level 4, to embrace that when it's offered as a product? What are you going to do to make sure there is transparency and robust interrogation that's available to us so I can make an informed, conscious decision about my transport and embracement of autonomy?
I think there are 3 components for establishing a trusted operation. I call it the triad of trust. So here we are talking about safety, which is a key element, especially that I am the safety regulator. So this is something that we do, and we need to make sure that safety is always integrated in all our processes and operations. The second thing is the transparency. The users, the end users of those machines, if let's say the eVTOLs, drones, and even the traditional type of transportation, they rely on that. They need to trust what they are using, and that requires an open channel of communication.
Yeah.
The end user are not like before. They have information on top of their fingers. They would know what they are riding. So if they think that they are riding an unsafe machine, they will not ride it. So maintaining the trust is equally important than safety. So the third component is basically about reliability. Now, why it is important? It's important to have a reliable system because of the investment that has been put in place. So governments, OEMs, operators, they are investing multi-billion dollars when we talk about this new segment of transportation. That one cannot be left accidentally, that there is no reliable operations behind it. Dispatch reliability is important. So the end user need to make sure that he is receiving his service appropriately. So those 3 elements, having a safe operation, a trusted system that is accepted by the end user, and a reliable service. Those 3 are the recipe of success. Without them, we will not have a successful takeoff, we could say.
Well, successful takeoff is a great phrase. What's the moment, Dr. Abdullah, then, where if we convene again, it's 2025, it's almost 2026, if we convene again over the next 3 to 4 years, and we come back in 2030, and you say to me, Manas, this was the moment, or this was the regulation, or this was the moment when I realized that autonomous driving, autonomous vehicles, autonomous drones, autonomous air, whatever the evolution is over the next 4 years, that it went mainstream, that we embraced it. Cruise control was given to us by American producers, if I'm not wrong, in the first instance. I don't know. It's just a lot of American cars that I've driven have all had. Sorry, who was it? What's it going to be? When would you say to me, Manas, we've gone mainstream, throw off your inner hesitancy, embrace level 3, level 4 driving on the E11?
I guess starting from next month, you will start seeing that you have autonomous car level 4 running here in Abu Dhabi. around 50 cars already licensed. They passed all the tests. They have passed all the requirements from the insurance and from the regulations, and they proved their technology, that they are safe. But as a regulator, I have to make sure that they don't fail. If they fail, so the whole story will shut down, and we have to restart again, because we need to build the trust again to the public. I guess you just mentioned that you came from Adibak this year, correct?
I did. It was pretty tough going, sir.
Have you seen the autonomous cars running from Adnok to Adibak, to Adnok area?
No.
There was 7 vehicles, fully autonomous. There was a safety officer for sure, just to make sure that, just to let the people feel that there is a human inside the car. But the experience was, there was no interaction between the driver and the vehicle.
No.
So we are there. We already implemented. We started the implementations. The operation is already there. And now it's open for all other companies to start moving to the safe system, to the safe operations. And they are the responsible. They paid billions in order to reach to this point. So it is important for them to make their business sustainable. They have to make their system successful here in Abu Dhabi.
You have 5 seconds because we're over, so I'll give you 10 seconds. When would you say we've gone mainstream, Manas?
Sorry, can you say that again?
When would you say that we've gone mainstream? What's the moment that you would define as being a paradigm shift and we've gone mainstream with autonomous in our lives?
I think it's a combination between, as we have been talking about, public transportation, robotaxis, and personal use. I think putting those vehicles in the roads in UAE next year for General Motors, that is going to be a very significant milestone. So we're looking forward to that.
Spirited conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, thank you very much for your time this morning.